Don't worry, not a nerdy video is coming soon, but as of right now, we got some nerdy stuff to do. Next video won't be nerdy. So this video, we're going to talk about how to analyze a tipping point state on this Jackson June map within 5 minutes. It's currently 9 o'clock a.m., so the video's going to end at 9:05 a.m. And in this video, we're going to look at how you have to be cautious about analyzing it, because right now it looks like there's one tipping point that's in tilt and one in lean. So you might actually think the tipping point was exactly 1%. It wasn't. Essentially, Biden's tipping point state was Wisconsin, which was 0.63%. Trump's was Pennsylvania, which was 1.2%. Because had they even that, it would be 269, 269. Also, in 2016, you have to be careful because the map makes it look like it was tilt, which it was. Specifically, Pennsylvania at 0.72. And while that was a tipping point state, I believe for one of the candidates, it was Wisconsin, which was 0.76%, and this was just due to faithless electors. So it wasn't actually 306 for Trump and 232 for Clinton. It's actually 304 for Trump and 227 for Clinton. Now this map, you have to be careful because at first you might think it's possibly in lean or on the border, but it actually isn't likely, which goes from 5 to 15. Once you know it's unlikely, you go into obviously assume that's close to lean, and it was. Colorado was a 5.4% margin, though this map you have to be careful because it does put Pennsylvania as closer than it, which is also 5.4, but Colorado still was a bit closer than Pennsylvania in actuality. Both states were not really that close. There was just a lot of states that were just shortly after it, such that at 6%, Romney would have actually had a pretty big victory. Oh well. 2008, you also be careful because it looks like it goes just past likely, so obviously it's in the likely column, but Virginia wouldn't be enough. You need to have it at Colorado, and Colorado voted for Obama by 9%, which actually is almost halfway through the likely column because safe begins at 15. 2004, this you have to be a bit careful. You have to obviously analyze that it isn't lean, but once you get there, Ohio is 2.1% for Bush. So it wasn't immediately past tilt either. It was actually pretty significant. Because Ohio alone could determine the election, and there was some allegations of voter fraud in the state of Ohio, and this is just really a one-off video, but there's a lot to discuss. This is what made the 2004 election, in some ways, even more controversial than the 2000 election. Especially because there was a recount on there, and it was suspected to have been illegal. 2000 obviously was tilt, but this map really doesn't show how close it was. Florida came down to 0.009% of a margin. I mean, look at how close it was. Bush got 48.85, Gore 48.84. It came down to just 537 votes in a state that has millions upon millions of people. 1996, obviously it makes it look like it was unlikely, but as you go down, and by the way, I do know these tipping point states, so I'm not examining them, you'll see Pennsylvania is 9.2%. Even though this statistic looks a lot bluer than, this statistic. And I say too, it was a pretty heavy electoral margin, but it was still actually in lean. Now, of course, it was Tennessee at 4.7%, which was very close to the likely boundary, but it wasn't quite there. In 1988, we had it be in the likely column. This makes it look like it was almost in lean, but it wasn't. It was Michigan with a 7.9% of a margin. 1984 was in solid, but this map makes it appear that it was a lot more safe than it really was. If you trickle it down, you just add the states, you get Michigan again, which was actually only 19% for Reagan. So, and in 1980, the map makes it look like it was a lot more deeper into likely, but it was actually Illinois, which was actually also 7.9%. It makes it look like it was almost in tilt, but Wisconsin was 1.7%, which was not really almost tilt. We go on and on, but I have no more time for this, so bye.